we spoke not too long ago. At that point, you were signed and you were fighting with Cage Warriors. I think we've probably all seen the video of Graham Boylan. I've never seen a man look more shocked in my life than your face in that video. Just talk us through, what was that like, that call when he's like to you, not only you fighting in the UFC, but by the way, it's in 6 days, mate.
Yeah, I found the whole thing a bit strange. Like, I suppose looking back, I probably should have had a bit of an inkling, like, why Graham Boylan's doing this interview. But just crazy. Like, it was kind of like, I remember I was actually saying to Rodney, in the video, it felt like a third person thing, like I was watching myself, if that makes sense. So just bizarre, like a really bizarre phone call. Like a good phone call, obviously, but just bizarre.
What's it like then when, obviously I'll come to you in a minute, Rodney, you're off the call and you're like, I'm sure the first thing you're doing is phoning friends, family, and like, what the fuck?
I couldn't get through to anyone. I called like 5 people and nobody answered. I was like, I felt like going to the neighbour's house and telling the neighbour what happened or something. Just bizarre.
That's shocking, by the way. UFC fighter and they're ignoring your phone calls. That's a travesty.
No one answered. No one answered.
At what point then do you obviously go, right, it sinks in a bit, and then you're like, but actually it's not like a normal card where, and as James has spoken this show before, where you're just flying out to the event, getting set up and that. This one you're having to quarantine, you're having to do all the crazy shit that comes along with this pandemic. At what point do you start thinking about that stuff?
Fuck. You know what? We didn't have time to think about anything until it was over. And that's true. Like even the day we had to get COVID tests and stuff, it was literally like I rang Rodney and said, like, this is bizarre, but you have to be in Belfast in 40 minutes. Like nothing was normal.
That was like 35 minutes ago.
Nothing made sense about it. But I think, you know, like we kind of thrive in the chaos, and we found our feet very quick and just done what needed to be done. There was nothing normal about it.
So give me a wee insight. What was that phone call like to Rodney from your end, Rhys? What was that? How did that call go?
Well, I remember ringing Rodney, and I don't know if Rodney remembers this or not, but I was like, we're going to Fight Island, and he was like, what for? And I was like, what fuck, I'm fighting. So I you know what? I just think it's like one of them moments. You know, you kind of think your whole career, like especially like ringing Rod and telling them it was a big moment. So very nice moment, and you know, I think Rodney was the first person I told. So just surreal, like just really, really, like again, the moment you fought about your whole career. So nice to make that call.
Yeah, and Rodney, obviously for your side of things, Rhys has just got that massive news, phones you and tells you he's signing with the UFC, and then he's fighting in 6 days. What's your reaction? What sort of things are you saying to him as his coach?
Well, I was as shocked as Rhys was whenever we heard. We kind of knew long term he was going to get the UFC, but I wasn't expecting like 6 days. So like we were actually meant to open the gym that Monday. So as soon as I come in, I'm ahead, like, fuck, happy days, man, we're ready to go for it. But then the other cogs are going there, fuck, hey, cancel this. So all privates were to start back, all classes were to start back. So I had to start messaging everybody again saying, listen, something's come up here, we hate to postpone things for 2 weeks here. But as Rhys said, man, we took everything in their stride to say, like we always say, stay ready. And that's it, man, you just have to do it. So the opportunity was there and we took it.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, you were obviously going in there, you went in against, I'm going to butcher his name, Shimon. He just fought in, I think he was 11 days from his last fight, is that right?
Yeah, John Phillips.
Yeah, that's right. And you're not just going in there against it. I mean, this guy's, I think, James, you've spoke about him before. You've been hearing this guy's name for a long time in Europe. So you went in there against a really tough opponent. Obviously, the fight didn't go your way. But one thing that happened after it is Dana White came out and spoke very, very highly of you after the fight. I'm assuming you've heard that and heard what Dana had to say. Was that sort of a good thing to hear, that guy that you've probably watched on TV so much, and he's speaking about you, and he's speaking about you in glowing terms?
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, like we were aware they knew who we were, but when you hear it officially and stuff, and you hear Dana calling you like by your name and stuff, I mean, it's nice, but you said the fight like didn't go our way and stuff, and obviously Kamzat, like he's a big deal, but that's a fight we'll want back again with a full camp. Like that's not, if they said I was fighting him again, like, I wouldn't hesitate. Like with a full camp, it'd be very, very different. A lot of people are saying stuff like, oh, but that guy Kamzat's a beast, and in my head I'm like, I'm the beast, I'm the one who'll have the title as well. So I think a lot of people are not overlooking him but underlooking me maybe. So but that's up for me to prove next, and I'm sure we'll do that.
Is that the thing you're now looking at? You hopefully now get the opportunity when that next fight comes your way, which it is going to now. You get the opportunity to put full preparation into it and go out there and show the best version of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've been in this position before, like, people saying this and that, and I really don't care. It's up to me and my team to just prove, it's not about showing something that we're not. All we have to do is prove what we are. So again, with good notice here, we're going to put on another spectacle and finish someone. It's exciting times.
Yeah, absolutely. James, I'd love to get your perspective on it. Obviously, we've heard Rodney briefly touching on it. From a coach's point of view, can you imagine what's going through Rodney's mind when he's getting that phone call for RHYS? It's a massive opportunity, but obviously it's not under the most ideal circumstances you would want, but it's an opportunity you've got to take.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to take it. I think Rodney's already touched on it. We did the last time RHYS was on as well. It was always like it was almost inevitable that RHYS was going to end up in the UFC. Like you could see it for when he was back fighting on Bama and stuff like that. He's not like a run-of-the-mill regional level or domestic level fighter. He's a bit more special than that. So it was always that way. I think Rodney's obviously been in the UFC before with Norman, so he's used to dealing with it and stuff. I'm 100% sure both guys would have wanted more than 6 days' notice. And Sweden never had a lockdown, so All Stars Gym has trained right through when everybody else in the UK and stuff has not been allowed to train in groups. But when that call comes, you have to take it. We had the same way when Stevie Ray signed. It was a 2-week notice thing. He was 36 pounds overweight. He was actually in Newcastle cornering some of your fighters and steaming drunk, eating fucking pizza and some horrible wee hotel when he got the call and he had to come up the road and start fucking pretty much a crash diet. And then the same way with Danny Henry, he had a broken foot. He actually took he had one of the plastic boot things on. Had to take that off for the fight. When the call comes, you have to take it, man.
Jump at it, yeah. And
it's a risk and stuff, but RHYS is going to do good in the UFC, man. Like, he can settle in now and get his full camp. He can reap the rewards of getting paid like a professional athlete now, and that'll affect his training. He can rest more. His nutrition and stuff will be better. And the next time he's out, you're going to see the difference, man, when he's full camping with a game plan and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%.
One quick question as well. We've spoken on the flight over to Fight Island. We have in a previous podcast discussed the food on the aeroplane. Did any of you gentlemen happen to have, or Rodney, did you happen to have the cheesecake on the flight, by any chance?
Cheesecake?
Yeah.
No, what's that? Something I'm missing?
It was something for a previous show. We were discussing the cheesecake on the flight and the fact that it had no base. I was curious to know if you'd maybe sampled it.
I nothing going. Cheesecake.
I don't think it was cheesecake. I don't think it was cheesecake. I think it was a brownie, and I think Rod, I threw mine over to you.
You did right away. I get everybody's.
Rodney, as well, you obviously you've been cornering in the UFC in the past. Obviously with Norman, how different an experience was this for you because of the circumstances and going to Fight Island and the way everything was set up? How big a change was that for you, going out to the UFC under those circumstances?
I was definitely. It was just weird. It was just a whirlwind. Like, just the production. Everyone was down to the millisecond. There was no time wasted. But it was just a weird experience. Like, even though it was a big UFC event, like Abu Dhabi Fight Island, like in the arena, it could have been anything. It was just so weird, nobody about, and just that the emptiness, the floor pumping and the banging on the cage floor and stuff. It was a weird. It's hard to explain. It was a weird atmosphere. But an experience that you'll not forget. Like, it was unreal, but weird. If that makes sense.
Well, I think we're living in a time where everything's kind of weird at the moment, really, isn't it?
It was just a surreal kind of thing. It was like a science fiction film in the Abu Dhabi part. I was just nuts. The complete place isolated, not a center on it, only us, But the way the production, there was no time wasted or no expense spared. It was unreal from top to bottom. We were looked after. Like the PI guy, when Rhys got there, completely monitoring his weight, nutrition specifically made for him to taper down. And then the wee room, they gave us a room and converted it into like a gym for us. It was Mata and a wee portable sauna. But basically, you just opened your balcony doors at the hotel, and it was like opening an oven. The heat, the waft of heat comes up and hits you. So you can nearly have used out the bag for a sauna. But no, it was unreal.
And it's that heat as well. Let's be honest, the Scottish and the Irish, they don't always do the best in that sort of heat.
No, it's not our strong point. But fuck, it was 47 degrees, 48 degrees. It was horrendous.
I think you were struggling out there with the heat as well, James.
I hated it. I stayed in the room by that. I'd wait till it got dark and I went outside like some kind of weird vampire, but I don't do well in the heat either, and it's not good for me.
And obviously, for you, when you've fought in obviously big shows, Cage Warriors, BAMMA, so you've been under the bright lights before. Obviously, taking the isolating and all that sort of stuff aside, was the experience different for you in this one, going into the UFC under the UFC lights? Was it any different for you?
You know what, like, it's one of the first things I think I said. It was actually oddly just the exact same as like any other cage, and again, Rodney's no stranger to the saying, the cage is the cage and lights is lights, but like, I think even it took me back, like, even I remember getting in the cage and seeing like the hashtag Abu Dhabi on top of the cage, and that being something that I associate with the UFC, and it just being so normal. Like, there was nothing that I was like, fuck, this is the UFC in any shape or form. Like, even wearing the gloves and stuff, it was all just so normal, and I think that's how I know I was always destined to be there, because there was nothing strange. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Once you get over that initial shock of the phone call, obviously, the fact it felt as normal, it probably is an indicator that in your mind you belong there.
Yeah, again, just nothing. Like, it was amazing, but like, I suppose it's also a testament to the show, like Cage Warriors and stuff, that they are preparing fighters. Is it's just a transition. It's just a different color gloves and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that is a big thing. I think we've seen it through the years with the UFC. Some guys get there and those bright lights, they can struggle under them. So I guess that just shows that the shows you've come up through, like James has said as well, BAMMA, Cage Warriors, that's prepared you to be ready for where you're at now. Like, I
mean, I suppose it might be different, in Vegas, with I don't know how many people will be there watching, but I can't say I don't get too caught up on stuff like that. I'm very like, I believe in ground anyway. I don't think stuff like that would ever faze me.
And the other thing, we are seeing a lot of guys getting calls out the blue. They're not getting a lot of notice. It's just the way the world's working in terms of MMA at the moment. So are you currently keeping yourself prepared in case another phone call does come from the UFC?
Yeah, well, I believe they'll give me more than 6 days. I know I know they have plans in place for when we'll be out again. So yeah, we're getting ready. But I think we opened the Monday after we were back, and we were straight in. So there's been no time wasted. I didn't need a rest. I didn't have a training camp. I didn't have the X of 8-week training camp or a harsh diet or anything like that. It was straight back to work and again on to the next one, which I believe is my real debut.
Mm-hmm. And you've just mentioned there, obviously the gym's back opening. How has everything been going with that, Rodney? With the gym being open, has there been a weird vibe in the gym, or does it feel like business as usual?
I got somebody phoned me there. Fuck. Somebody phoned in the middle there. No, but as well as it's good to be open again, but we just have it open to members only. Like Rhys being on the UFC and getting into the Fight Island, the messages I've had from all these new people wanting to come and train and wanting to do that, but unfortunately the way things are at home, we have to just keep it still very monitored. So we have the kind of 46-week phase, but every class is packed and there's a good buzz about the place. And again, that's thanks to Rhys doing what he did and raising the profile again. So can't complain.
Is that another part of it as well, Rhys, that kind of makes you happy that you achieving part of what you've set out to achieve and getting to the UFC? It's great for you, but as you can see there for Rodney, it benefits the gym with a lot of new people coming in and just again raises the profile of the sport and not only the UK but obviously Northern Ireland as well. Yeah,
it's always been a big deal for me. Like I went straight from Rodney's beginner program straight through, stayed there. There was never I never had 2 years at another gym. It's, from beginner program to UFC. So I think Rodney should release a beginner program to UFC. That should be the next market employee, but that's a different conversation.
And Rodney, I remember you in the past have mentioned like when Rhys first came into the gym, obviously young skinny kid, I think you said.
Wee scraggly.
I still don't have a big set of biceps, but we're getting there.
How proud a moment is that for you when he gets that call for the UFC? Because that's a great achievement in itself. There must be an element of pride for you as his coach and somebody that's took him for that young guy who first started training him.
Aye, no, definitely. Rhys, we actually just talked about that. Like, Rhys is the first kind of thoroughbred that came through. Like, he had no other martial arts experience before he came. From playing football to getting into the MMA and then tearing up the amateur kind of scene first and then stepping up in short notice. He stepped up on Obama and put on the spectacle there as well. And no, it's unreal. It's one of the best feelings. Like, bar seeing them do well and winning, like, to do that, it's priceless. You can't. Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, it's unreal. Like,
I guess that's the thing as well. When you're saying it's somebody you're taking from the very beginning as well, that just makes it a wee bit more special. I would guess then.
Yeah, and especially too when there's like Rhys, he has it all, and I've said that from the start, and we always said we knew he was going to make it. Like, he's a personality, he's respectful, he's well mannered. The media and stuff love him over here. Like, the backing we had while we were away, like, my phone never stopped. Oh, Rhys was Cool FM, he was in BBC Sport, UTV Sport. So all the local media people got behind him, and this is good to see, and it's a testament to him of being just the good fella that he is. So it's really, for the sport all round, it's a win.
And I guess that's something else that you notice, Rhys. Obviously, like when you sign with Cage Warriors and that's brilliant, and that's a massive part, massive at that stage in your career. But did you notice a big difference when you got that when you signed with the UFC? The amount of media interest and contacts you were getting?
Oh, crazy! Like, it's still, you see, to be honest, it still hasn't slowed down. Like even like just like, no, I don't mean silly interviews, but like just everybody wants to have a conversation and get stuff going, and like, I've always been a guy, I try to give everybody time. Like, even in the gym, I'll try and spar day ones if I can. But I think even with like interviews and media and stuff, you have to be selfish. And when we were in Abu Dhabi, there's people wanting to interview you on fight day and the day before and the day before that, and it's like, you can't be a man of the people for everyone, because at the end of the day, I had to fight someone. So but it blew up. It just blew up for everyone. So I think Rodney was head of media. You're right.
I mean, I would imagine that could be. By the way, we'll never ask you to come on the podcast and fight there when you're cutting weight or anything like that. So you'll never get that message from us. But that was it really a lot of requests you were getting?
Oh, like, I only deleted them on Monday past there, and I had over 1,000 message requests. Like, and that took me over 2.5 hours to delete them all. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but like, I mean, it's not like I'm gloating about my message requests, because most of them were most of them were slabbered anyway, but but like there's just a lot to do. So I'd say Rodney must have got a good pop off his followers, because Rodney was like videoing it all. It was great.
Aye.
Did you, Rob? Did you get a few extra followers?
Aye, no, there's a good few, and I'm terrible. See, I'm finding messages from like even 2 years ago. People sent me messages inquiring about stuff. Social media is not my strong point.
To be fair, it did take you about 3 days to when you saw my message. And you're like, oh, I never seen this, but that was at least.
I just scroll, and then whatever I don't get through that day, the next day's add on to it. And then a Saturday, I'll maybe get a day and scroll through everything and think, oh fuck, that was important. I should get back. But
you delete messages. He reads messages and deletes them, and it's the worst thing ever. Because then he's like, "Oh, I deleted it. I have no idea what was said."
Basically, what we're saying here, Rodney, is if anybody wants to get a hold of you, message you on a Saturday, then
message me on a Saturday, and I'll get back to you on Monday.
Aye, maybe unless he deletes it.
Unless he deletes it.
But once I read it and reply to it, I'll delete it so that it's off the list. There's a method to the madness, as they say.
Aye, well, that's it, isn't it? And you mentioned something there about James. Is that something you noticed when like Danny and Stevie signed with the UFC? Do you notice that, like the media attention they get, and then obviously the interest in people want to come to the gym?
It gives the gym a wee bump, like a wee increase in popularity. Sometimes it's not the right people you want coming to the gym either, but it does kind of elevate the profile of the gym a wee bit, which is pretty cool. It's just a kind of nice selling point for the gym. You can, like, we've got UFC fighters in the gym and our Bellator fighters in the gym and whatever. But that thing that these are mentioning, coming from the beginner program to the UFCs, like, that's a special thing, that, because especially the way stuff is right now, you could have easily built your reputation off Norman and then just had fighters jumping ship for other teams and coming to you and stuff. But when you get a guy for day one, a young guy for day one, and you're basically helping him achieve his goals and his dreams and stuff, there's not many people doing that, man. None of these like big massive teams in America are really doing that. There's like mercenaries going to these teams and represent them. But when you've taken for like what you guys have done for the beginner program, it's a special thing, man.
100%, definitely. Hopefully, more to follow.
It's like a blueprint now for like the rest of the guys, and there'll be guys probably Reese's friends and stuff like that started at the same time, and they've maybe fell away, and they could be like, that could have been me. But you have 15, 16-year-old kids in that gym. I think you mentioned that the last time you were on, Rodney, and they'll be looking at Reese being like, I can do that. I can get to the UFC. We've got a blueprint here, and it's a good thing, man.
No, 100%. It's made, like, it's achievable now. Like, before they would have thought it was impossible, but now that Reese has done it, and they've all been in with him and stuff, they think, like, I can do that. So it's like definitely a more achievable and more accomplishment for them.
Do you notice a difference in the the younger guys at the gym now, like your young amateurs and stuff like that, now that Reese is in the UFC at the moment? And obviously it's just the start of your journey in the UFC, Reese, but do you notice a difference in those young guys now, like maybe it's lit a bit more of a fire under them and giving them a bit more hunger?
100%. You see it, they're all chomping at the bit now, and they've that buzz, and you say that fire's lit below them again, and just give them that wee belief, I can do this. Now they're, like I say, there's them young guys, wee Bradley, Brandon, and our wee guy Dylan. There's a lot of young guys coming up through, and you just see them taking it up that next notch now. That
they're all coming from my head. They're all coming from my head.
You have a target. The target shifted for me now to Reese.
So what's this reason? They want to go and tell all their pals, by the way, I managed to get the better of a UFC fighter.
Here, 100%. But listen, I don't blame them. I remember when Greg Lochran and Norman was in the gym, like, I was sitting at the corner of the ring, chomping at the bit to get in. So I get it. You want to go out, like, not go after them, but you want to, you want to take a chink in their armour and see what you can do. 100%.
I guess it's an element they want to test themselves against, because the UFC is the Champions League. It is the top level in our sort of MMA anyway. So these young guys want to get and test themselves, I'm assuming.
And it keeps me in my game too. It keeps me in my toes. You can't have any off days when some hungry 18-year-old is trying to punch your head off. So
putting up on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. A TikTok. I'll be viral for the wrong reasons.
Aye. You don't want to become a meme already. That's not the best the best idea. So I take it, has there been any contact, any word for the UFC or anything like that? Have you got any inkling when they might want you back? Have they dropped any hints, or have they just sort of left you get back to it at home?
Vaguely told me when to be ready. So as I'm sure every fighter in the roster has a rough idea of when to be ready. So we're just with no names, with no inklings of names or anything like that. But we know a rough date there, so we're just head down and putting work in until we get a name, so to speak. Then we start to get a bit more specific, I think.
And I would safe to say then, for just the way you spoke earlier, at this point, does the name not really matter to you? It's about you now. It's about what you can do with the right preparation and a good full camp.
Yeah, I know the last fight wasn't the most wonderful thing to watch, but I believe I can give anybody a good run with a full camp. I don't think I need to fight less guys or anything like that. I rank myself very high in there, so I'm excited to see who they give me, and I think it'll be very telling who the UFC give me, where they rate me. So I don't really care who. I'm excited though.
Well, I mean, obviously, I would imagine the UFC definitely rate you. It seems like Dana White definitely rates you, like I said, because again, he spoke very highly of you, which he doesn't do with every fighter. So we certainly look forward to seeing you back in there. I'm assuming probably going to be Fight Island, I would imagine.
I'm not too sure.
Secret, we can't say nothing yet.
Oh, right, okay. We don't want to press it too hard.
I would love it to be Fight Island again, though. I'd love to go there. 100%. I would definitely go back wherever it is. I'll be there anyway. So
it seems to be right now. It's Fight Island or the Apex. So I think most of the European guys are Fight Island. Oh, by the way, sorry. How was the nose swab?
Oh fuck, bro! They got worse the more they done.
The one in Belfast was great. She done a good job. Just about touched your nose, and then the minute we got in Abu Dhabi, flip, they were trying to poke out the back of your head.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the countries out there are known for drilling for oil, so maybe that's what it is. They're going down. So was it pretty uncomfortable then?
No, it was brutal. I found it brutal, and I found it brutal. I don't know about you, Ross.
Aye, it was rough enough, but bearable. But they got worse the more they done. The friggin' worse or the rougher they got. They took a wee bit of pride and kind of angled it up end. But that last one we got, man, was your dog just friggin' went from the hip right up end to the friggin' had the ice dog it.
Did you maybe say something, Rodney, to upset them, and they've just intentionally tried to hurt you?
I could have maybe made a wee remark about something there, but no, fuck, it was brutal. That last one was the most horrendous out of them all.
Well, listen, I'm glad. Thanks very much for jumping on and doing this, lads. It was brilliant to see you get signed, Rhys, and we can't wait to see you back in there.
Appreciate it.
Just before I let you go, James, anything else you want to jump in and add before I let the guys go?
I first for Rhys, I see Cage Warriors has announced Mason Jones and Proctor for the welterweight title. I would have assumed you would have been fighting for that on this trilogy show. How do you see that fight going? Who are you picking to win that one?
Yeah, well, actually, we kind of just agreed the Proctor fight, and then the whole thing came about, I think, 3 days later. But Mason's actually over with us. Mason came over with us on Tuesday. Listen, Mason's a stud. He's just legit. He's all round. I think Rodney will agree. I'm sure he's UFC written all over him. I believe he'll go out here and just dismantle Proctor. I don't think Proctor has the fighter in him as much as Mason. Mason's there to fight, and I'm very, very excited. So I'm definitely going with Mason.
Last thing for Rodney, what's happening with Norman now? What's going on? He's going to be back on KSW.
Oh, fuck, it's all up in the air at the minute, man. There's when after that last run out, there's a couple of, what would you say, legal things that went tits up. So Norman's digging the heels and he's trying to get out at the minute, and he's giving them an ultimatum, so if they don't step up to it, he's walking away. But he might be able to fill you in a wee bit more. I don't want to say too much in case shoot somebody in the foot, but he's not a happy camper at the minute. Prepared for there'll be a lot of Twitter and Instagram things going up, so keep your eyes on it.
Listen, it wouldn't be Norman if there wasn't something going on winter, no.
Oh dear, okay, means well the prayer, so.
That's it. Well, listen, again, lads, we really appreciate you coming on and speaking to us, man. It was fun to chat to you and get a wee bit of insight of your experience recently. So thanks again for coming on the show.
No bother. Thank you for having us again, man. Thanks very much.
No, anytime, man. Right, cheers, guys.